drugs, hypocrisy and lies. Why there's no going back for Harry and Meghan. If there was ever any doubt over whether Meghan and Harry could possibly return to royal life, the events that we have seen over the past few weeks have definitely put paid to that. Hello and a very warm welcome to LVT News. Harry's live-streamed interview in which he talked about how using illegal substance has really helped him deal with mental health problems has sparked quite the backlash from campaigners and doctors alike. While the loss of Meghan and Harry's British home, Frogmore Cottage, really underscored their eviction from the over the past few months, if not years, it seems like Harry and Meghan have been holding all the cards. They have been launching accusation after accusation of their perceived mistreatment. They use their Netflix docu-series to do it. They used the pages of Spare, they used publicity interviews, and the sad thing is the royal family have basically had no choice but to stay. It is true that recollections may vary, but Harry and Meghan have used all their media platforms not only to talk bad about the institution, but also the family members within it. Evil stepmother Camilla, cold and unfeeling; Catherine, arrogant and hot-tempered; William, and they made Charles seem emotionally inept and, I mean, even their announcement that they indeed got an invitation to the coronation, but they weren't going to say whether or not they're going to come, perpetuated what seems to be an endless cycle of drama from the two of them. Now Charles's power play and kicking Meghan and Harry out of Frogmore Cottage in spite of them already having paid a few years right up front has signaled that enough is enough. I think he was sending a pretty clear message. They are welcome to come visit the UK, but they are no longer going to participate in any royal proceedings. Also, how could Harry possibly represent the firm or be any kind of royal role model when he openly has admitted to taking drugs and what seemed to be an attempt to sell copies of his book? He participated in a live interview with trauma expert therapist Dr. Gourmaid, who also, of course, had his own book to promote, and that cost viewers almost $34 a ticket. Harry talked about how smoking lots of marijuana, which is a classy rug, had really helped him to handle the loss of his late mother, and also his positive experience of psychedelic drug Iowa, also illegal in the UK and in the US, he claims brought him a sense of relaxation, release, comfort. A lightness that I managed to hold on to for a period of time, he said. And even the actress Courtney Cox got involved in this drug debate after Harry claimed that he took some magic mushrooms while he was staying at her house, but of course she had a different version of the story. She said, "Well, he did stay here for a couple of days. Probably 2 or 3. Is a really nice person. I haven't read the book. I do want to hear it because I heard it's really entertaining, but yes, it's gotten back to me about it. I'm not saying there were mushrooms, I definitely wasn't passing them out. More varying recollections perhaps." And Harry launched another attack against his family, claiming that he was starved of affection during his incredibly painful childhood, as he put it in the interview. He complained about his broken home upbringing, and he said that he felt different from the rest of his family. But in spite of all these truth bombs, Harry claimed that he felt incredibly free after he wrote Spare, and he said that it was an act of service. He went on to say that it was a huge weight off his shoulders. Everything that the gruesome Tucson have done since they moved to the US has been in order to distance themselves from the monarchy, but at the same time trying to make money off of their position within it. Harry whined about the trauma and intergenerational pain that growing up as a royal has brought, and he said that he walked away from the UK in order to break the cycle of pain. So it's somewhat confusing, if not entirely hypocritical, that they have announced they're going to use royal titles for those invisible kids. Now that Charles has ascended the throne, technically Archie and Lilibet are automatically prince and princess, all granted of the monarch through the male line are, but there has been some confusion over whether or not they were going to use the titles after Buckingham Palace didn't immediately update the line of succession on the royal family website. I suspect that Harry and Meghan wanted Invisible to be christened at Windsor Castle, but with little possibility of that ever happening. They announced that Princess Lilibet had been baptized at their family home in Montecito at the beginning of the month, and being shocked by accusations of hypocrisy. Harry and Meghan then claimed that their titles were their birthright and that Charles had agreed to the titles last year, and But let's think back to that Oprah interview. Meghan was pretty clear when she said in the months when I was pregnant all around the same time. So we have intended in the conversation of he won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's okay. So what is the real story? I mean, technically, Archie was always going to have a title once his grandfather became king. That is according to a law that was introduced by George V way back in 1917. So either Meghan totally misunderstood or she just misconstrued the position. Now Piers Morgan seems to believe that Meghan did indeed get it wrong. In a recent on-air discussion on his show, the outspoken presenter dismissed the suggestion of racism at the palace. He called it a complete lie, and he went on to say she claimed the only reason Archie hadn't been made a prince was because of his skin color. It turns out she just didn't understand how the system actually. And US-based royal commentator Kinsey Sheffield also has a similar opinion. They even went so far as to say that Meghan should acknowledge that she lied in the Oprah Winfrey interview about Archie not receiving a royal title because of his skin color. These are some pretty strong opinions, and maybe there are opinions that Meghan and Harry wouldn't agree with. Now artificial and invisible are being raised as Americans, and they only met their grandfather a few times maximum if ever. Maybe one day there's going to be a role in the royal family for them if they're real before their parents. I am afraid there was no possibility of that happening. If these kids are real, I do feel really sorry for them. I mean, Harry and Meghan have insisted they should have titles. But they are so far removed from the royal family that those titles are just going to become a burden. People are going to make fun of them for those titles. The titles don't have any meaning whatsoever in the US. Instead, they just serve as a target for bullies when they go to school. And we cannot assume they're going to have school days with typical American children, and their attitudes and reaction to life is of course going to be shaped by their evil parents. The best parental love is to set your kids up with the right ideas about life and then just let them be independent. I think that Harry is so disturbed that he's never going to let go. I don't think he'll ever allow his children to be free if they're real. They're never going to learn to stand up on their own 2 feet after they've been knocked down by life or love. I don't think they'll learn how to pick themselves up after a failure. I think they're going to be sheltered from all of that. Which is exactly what is wrong with Harry, and that's why he thinks he is always the victim. Now to me, having a title but nothing behind it is a bit ridiculous. It's a lot like the Germans and Italians who are technically counts, or a Frenchman who may be a marquis to something C without the corresponding monarchy to support it. Is basically just an ego trip. And you, what do you think about these invisible children? Please tell me your opinion below in the comment section, and we can also talk about your thoughts and feelings if you think my video is helpful. Please remember to like and share it with anyone else who would love it anytime you want, and please subscribe to our LVT News channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll be back to see you in the next